Althea. I think I know Althea. If this is Althea Matthews from our town, I think. Shout out to Greenberg. Althea asked, how do you build your watch list? I guess she's asking for herself, but how would one build their watch list?
I'll let Rashad dive in after I go, but we talked about it last week. So you can go to Yahoo Finance, click on the search bar, and you can go look at the ones that the hedge funds are buying the most. You can look at top tech. Personally, I like half index, half tech. So any Vanguard, MGC, VTI, VOO, write those down. Those are 3 free. That's how I build my watch list. But I would be very careful from looking at the internet because most of social are going to be forced. They're going to force you to look at short-term plays. I'm looking at longer-term plays because I want the money to work for me. I don't want to have to work for the money because I want us to look at the market from an investor standpoint and not a consumer. Because when you're flipping stocks, that still is a job. You're still trading time for money. Trust me, because you're going to be up at 2:00 in the morning looking at it. So Yahoo Finance is a great way to do it. Rashad, what do you think?
I'm gonna give people the ultimate cheat code for the lazy investor 101. You go to google.com, you type in best performing ETFs.
Yep.
And you'll get the best performing ETFs, and then you look at the top holdings inside of those ETFs.
And listen to Market Mondays and Game Set Match. You have everything.
That's it.
Yeah. Shout out to Aku in Ghana. He said it's 1 a.m. Shout out to you for checking in.
Kudos to you.
Shout out to everybody in Ghana. Shout out to everybody on the continent.
I see somebody talking about swing trading. We're actually going to do an EYO University class about swing trading with none other than Jamal.
Yeah.
EYO Jamal. He's actually been investing in stocks longer than all of us in Earn Your Leisure side of things.
He got a passion for it too. Like we was at the house, man. He was asking a bunch of questions. I'm like, I love this.
Yeah, he's addicted to it, man.
Absolutely.
Another thing, you know what? Somebody was talking. He had a question about margins last week. Margins, and I was listening to Notorious B.I.G. today, the great legend, and the 10 crack commandments. And I thought about something when he was like, a strong word called consignment. Strictly for live men, not for freshmen. If you ain't got the clientele, say hell no, because they gonna want their money, rain, sleet, hell no. You can learn a lot from rap music.
That's a fact.
If you don't got the clientele, say hell no. Consignment, strictly for live men, man. That's something I just thought about. I'm like, yo, that's margin right there. Like, don't take margin unless you know what you're doing. This is not,
don't play in that game.
Strictly for live men, not for freshmen.
Yeah.
And if you guys are going to trade on margin, you have to practice because the game, like a casino, is set up for you to lose. And they know that you're going to overtrade. They know that you're going to over leverage, going to use too many contracts. And then all those psychological things are there to trap you. You don't have to get caught in the snare, and then limit the number of trades. I know a lot of times when you guys hear me say trade less, fewer positions, you think it's from a place of hate. It's from a position of caring, because you're not going to run across many investors unless it's an algorithm-based hedge fund that's telling you that they're taking 200, 300 trades in a month. Humans are not able to execute and make decisions at that rapid of a rate. So be careful.
Appreciate you. Let's go. Sylvia Austin, coming to you. Unmute yourself. You've been unmuted. Oh.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Gotta go.
When I say fridge break, they come on.
Gotta go.
Oh, she missed it.
Next time.
Yeah. Let's see who we got here. Let's go to
I forgot to address the C Fund, but the C Fund is, I want you guys to Google C Fund Millionaires. That is one of the most profitable funds there is. I like C better than G, by the way.
Anand Prashad, we're coming to you. Unmute yourself. You've been unmuted. Anand Prashad, what's going on?
Hello, gentlemen.
Did I get your name right?
Yeah, you got it.
Perfect. Appreciate you.
Thank you for everything you guys doing. Rashad, I went to school with your cousin Akil.
Okay. Shout out to Spring Valley. Where, in college or high school?
Yeah, Johnson and Wells. So
okay,
culinary school.
The other day, but I hit you up on Instagram. I got you. But anyway, real quick, the question that I had was, I have a previous employer that I have a simple IRA with, and I wanted to know should I transfer that, or like try to, or can I take that and put it into a Roth, or like a self-managed Roth IRA?
Yeah, once again, that's the backdoor IRA question. So the simple IRA is on the lines of a traditional IRA, traditional 401k, where it's pre-tax dollars and you get taxed when you take the money out. So if you roll it over into a Roth IRA, you're gonna have to pay taxes on the amount. So it's just a matter of whether you want to, or whether you're prepared to pay the taxes on the total amount. Keep in mind, and it's state and federal tax depending on what state you live in, and which depending on which federal tax bracket you fall under. So those are just things that you just want to look at your budget, look at your savings, look at how much money you have, like, prepared to pay in the taxes. But you can, but like I said, you'll be paying taxes on that amount.
Right. Okay. I got you. All right. Appreciate it. Thank you. Ian, can't wait for the 26th.
I appreciate you so much.
Appreciate you, bro.
Appreciate you, brother.
You can put BLD on your watch list. It is too high. Ticker B as in Bob, L as in Larry, D as in David, BLD on your watch list.
Misha, what's going on? Unmute yourself. You've been unmuted. They said I need a voice drop for that. Unmute yourself. You've been unmuted. They be getting on me inside the investment group. Misha, you there? Oh, okay.
What's
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we do. We hear you.
Okay, cool. So check this out. You guys are amazing, man. Like, if I don't know, if people don't know about you guys, they sleeping, yo.
You gotta wake them up, Misha. You gotta help wake them up, Misha.
I know. So check this out. So, like, I've been watching you guys, and I got like a watch list going on. So, my question is, if you have a small amount of money, but you're trying to be aggressive with that, would you go ahead and invest or save and invest?
If you have a small amount of money and you're trying to be aggressive, so you're trying to make a small amount, a large amount. I think we had said this before too. The problem with trying to hit home runs is that you usually strike out. Mm-hmm. So I would stick to the script. And run my race. You can do both. Like, you can invest. I wouldn't necessarily look to invest a lump sum if I have a small amount of money. I would look to invest more on a monthly basis. And that monthly basis might be $100 a month, $200 a month, or whatever I could afford in my budget. But I wouldn't necessarily, like, if I had, hypothetically speaking, $3,000 saved, like, that's it. I wouldn't invest that $3,000. If I wanted to invest, I would invest $100 a month until I have enough, where I feel comfortable doing a lump sum. You don't have to invest lump sum. That's something that people need to take into consideration as well. Of course, it feels great if you can put, $10,000, $50,000, $100,000, whatever, into the stock market, because obviously your rate of return, you're going to see way more money. But as I said before, everybody's race is different, and there's power in dollar cost average. And this is why the 401k is such a beneficial vehicle for most people, because they put small amounts of money on a consistent basis. They might put $100 a month, $200 a month. Before you know, you have $50,000 in your 401k, $60,000 in your 401k. You don't even realize it, because you were saving every single month, and the money was growing as the stock market was growing as well. So never discount the value of small investments on a consistent basis.
I'm just,
right.
I was going to add to his baseball analogy. Like he said, man, it's the people who win batting titles aren't the person who hits the most home runs. It's usually the person who hits the most singles and is consistent.
My graduates from my school being Forbes, bag drop.
Bag drop.
A mic drop, bag drop.
Bag drop.